quadrain system, shields up, weapons armed, and at a safe distance from nearby planets to avoid stumbling into anything. "Lesson learned, sir," she called, grinning. "We're here safe and sound." "Don't dislocate your shoulder patting yourself on the back just yet," Tactical told her. "He's right, although it bothers me to admit it," XO said. "That Luranian ship could be anywhere." "That's not our biggest problem right now," Asya announced. "We step into another firefight?" General Maddox asked, even though the tactical display showed no hostile targets. "No," Rhea shot back. "No," Asya assured him. "More like an asteroid field." She brought up the view outside the ship, showing chunks of debris flying everywhere. "This system looks as if it's pissed off. Those 3 suns are beating up the place. Can't say it's tourist-friendly." "Radiation levels are off the charts, too," XO called. "The gravitic shields are keeping us safe for now, plus our standard rad shields, but if we're sticking around for a while, we're going to want to look into reinforcing our defenses." "I'm not interested in looking like that burnt-toast cultist and his Muultar buddies," Tactical complained. "Not much chance of that," Gia told him, her gaze inadvertently going to Reynolds as he strolled onto the bridge. With his new faux flesh, his android body might not be so lucky. She found it strange to look at him now after having seen his evolution from the Johnny Taxi body she'd helped steal for him to the older construct Takal had pieced together to maintain the AI's essence without degrading. The new body looked so human that it caught Gia off guard every time she saw it. If it weren't for the AI's mannerisms and the crass, cutting sarcasm that was so much a part of Reynolds, Gia would have had a hard time reconciling the new body with the Federation AI. Had she passed him on the street, she would never have known he was an android. Even knowing, it still caused a hitch in her brain. He walked so casually now and so gracefully. There was none of the stutter of parts breaking down or the creak of damaged metal joints. For all intents and purposes, he was as human as any of them. Well, more so, she thought, chuckling to herself, seeing as how none of us are human. Alive would be a better word, she corrected herself. "Get Takal up here to examine these radiation readings," Reynolds ordered. "Let's see if he can come up with something, since I have no idea how long we'll be here. Better safe than sorry." "If the Phraim Eh cultists are here, we'll stay as long as it takes to root them out," Gia thought. A rumbling vibration pulled her out of her internal discourse, and she glanced at the view screen. "I'm moving us to the edge of the asteroid field," Ensign Alcott reported, but the scrunched expression on her face suggested it wasn't as easy a task as she had hoped it would be. "What edge?" Tactical asked. "This whole system is one big cluster duck of floating debris." "Scanners show there were 7 planets here not long ago," Com reported. "There are only 4 now, which explains the mess." "The planets in the Goldilocks zone have avoided being torn apart, and one other," XO stated. "I'm thinking this porridge is still too fucking hot," Tactical muttered. "I agree," Reynolds said. "Muultar is skirting the edge of the habitable zone. Another 100,000 years or so, and it will be floating rocks like the rest of its neighbors." "If that long," XO said. "The debris is pelting the planets on top of the increased radiation. A big enough chunk hits it and—" "Say goodbye to the dinosaurs," Tactical laughed. "Dino what?" Gia asked, wondering what Tactical was talking about. Reynolds waved off the question. "Just get us as far away from the wreckage as possible, Ensign," he ordered. "We can better examine the system if we're not being peppered by debris." The Superdreadnought eased out of the asteroid field as gracefully as possible, but it was slow going. The shields flashed as they deflected a number of impacts before Rhea managed to get them mostly clear. The majority of the field hurtled beneath them, its passage playing across the view screen. "Best I can do, sir," Rhea called. "It'll have to do," Reynolds answered. "Bring up the long-range scanners and give me a detailed report on the system. Get me as much information as you can about Muultar. I want to know what we're walking into." Gia bit back a sigh at Reynolds's subtle dig at their recent performance. Their last mission had started off on the wrong